My name is John Ashley. I live in San Bernardino, California. Up until a eye injury, I had close to 2015 vision in both of my eyes. I was cutting a piece of galvanized pipe, and a piece of flake of that metal got into my eye, and went to the ER. The ER said that they couldn't find the piece of metal. It was in there for probably about 3 or 4 days. By the time I saw an ophthalmologist, he did find the piece of metal and pulled it out. I was told that when he pulled that piece of metal out of my eye, that part of my cornea came out with it. My cornea had apparently affixed to that sliver. And so when my cornea healed, it healed concaved. And I lived like that for about a year. Everything that I saw had this aura around it. I began to look online to try to find some people who would repair cornea scars, cornea repair, things like that. And for some reason, some place in Amarillo, Texas, called Rush Eye Institute, they were somehow advertising or claimed to do TPK, I think was the procedure. And so I called them up and shared with them what I was going through, and they said, sure, come on down, we'll see. And so I went literally over 1,000 miles to find somebody that would repair my cornea. And when I went in, they said that they would try it, but that there was an 80% chance that it wouldn't do anything. And the time frame that they gave me wasn't going to fit in my schedule for being down there. So when I came back to Southern California, came back to San Bernardino, I began to look into the PTK procedure, and I found that Cornea Revolution does that procedure. I started looking up Dr. Motwani, found some interviews from local television stations here about him, and was really amazed at the things that he claimed to be able to do, the supervision kind of things that he was claiming. And so I reached out to Cornea Revolution and set up an appointment, and told them I was looking for a PTK, and they ran the scans, and Dr. Motwani looked at me and said, who told you needed a PTK? And so I told him what went through, and he said a PTK would have done nothing for you. Of course, I don't know any of this. I'm just looking up online and trying to research stuff. I don't know what's wrong with my eye, just that I thought I had a scar. And he said a PTK would have left you without hope. He said, because you were told that all you had to do was a PTK, and the PTK wouldn't have done anything, and you wouldn't have continued your search for help. He said, what you need is a cornea reconstruction. He shared with me that he was one of 2 in the US that would do this kind of procedure. So basically, what had to be done wasn't a removal of a scar, but a restructuring of my cornea. So he took my cornea, which was repaired or healed in this fashion, and he reshaped it or brought it back to a circumference. And then the next procedure, he had to kind of smooth out any imperfections on that. One of the things that impressed me the most about this process was after the second procedure, I was still not having the clarity of vision that we were wanting. And so Dr. Motwani said, well, we just need to reshape it again. And so we went through another procedure, and I just had to pay for the actual procedure part of it. It wasn't astronomical. The fees for all of this compared to what I've received has been phenomenal. I thought that I was going to have blurred vision for the rest of my life. I had this aura from everything that I saw, any light, especially at night. My left eye was seeing clearly. My right eye, every light that I saw, it had this just crazy aura over everything, and it was causing headaches at night specifically. And after my technically third procedure and the time of healing that it needed, I actually finally got my sight back. in my eye. The aura was gone. I was seeing things I'm seeing things as crisp out of my right eye as I've ever seen out of my left eye. And it is true that if I had had that PTK and it hadn't fixed anything, I would have thought, well, I've tried all that I can. Literally, I went to an ophthalmologist 3 or 4 times, and the ophthalmologist never even suggested that there was anything that they could do beyond just some kind of hard shell contact that he was giving me, which was so irritating in my eye. I was told that there were just, at that time, there weren't anything else, which was maddening, because here you have people like Motwani, who's in this field, advancing this technology and advancing these procedures, and people have to be reading his journals, have to be reading his writings, but they're not offering it. I had to get online and search myself for these opportunities that were around. So Motwani's been just a phenomenal doctor, very, very helpful, and he's not looking to just do procedures for money. He's very purposeful in what he's doing. So I can't speak highly enough about this institute. I can't speak highly enough about Dr. Motwani. And if you've got some eye injury, if you've got something that you need to try to have fixed, I would highly recommend that you reach out to the Cornea Revolution.